Hi everyone, something quite serious to share and talk about with you today, and that's something you may or may not be aware of, but there have been many data breaches and attempted data breaches going on, like I want to say globally, just recently, but a lot in the UK that I can talk about because they've been in the news. And one quite serious one I want to say for anyone who's ever shopped at Dior is Dior. A couple of days ago, when was it? It was last Wednesday, which I think was the 15th of May. They sent round an email, and I'll read bits of the email for you today. But what they're effectively saying is they have said, we are writing to inform you that on May 7th, 2025, we became aware of an unauthorized external party that had accessed some of our customer data that we hold. The investigation we launched indicates that the cause of the incident is unauthorized access to one of our databases. We immediately took measures to contain this malicious incident, including by blocking such access. The teams at Dior, supported by leading cybersecurity experts, continue to investigate and respond to the incident. We have also notified the Information Commissioner's Office, also known as the ICO. It goes on to say, no financial information, including bank details, IBAN or credit card details, was contained in the concerned database. But then, this morning, I don't even know if I want to click this link, but this morning, I got a text message from Dior. And it just says, important message from Dior regarding your personal data. Click here for more. And it does look like a Dior link, but I don't click any links. But what's going on here? So several weeks ago still, there's a supermarket in the UK called the Co-op. They had a data breach too. And at the time, it was kind of like, what's going on here? And weirdness. Then it happened to Marks and Spencer. And from what I understand, when I've read about Marks and Spencer, it was ransomware. So Marks and Spencer were having to negotiate with the hackers a fee. This is what I read. I don't know if things have changed since then, but this is what I read at the time. Negotiate a fee in order to basically have the hackers not go and potentially leak everyone's details. And now Dior. And also Harrods. Harrods got done a couple of weeks ago, although Harrods have said that they were hot on it and they got everything resolved before the hackers managed to get hold of their databases of customer information. So what does this mean? This basically means that whether you shop at Marks and Spencer's, the Co-op, not so much Harrods because they're saying their databases haven't been compromised, but definitely Dior have admitted to it. It means that if you have ever shopped there, the hackers have got your details. Now think about the kind of people that shop at Dior. I've been in Dior before in the past, and there have been like literal royalty from Middle Eastern families in there. They go in with bodyguards, they dress down and they spend. And I am imagining the type of person that's going to be on this database and how many people might end up suing Dior for this or suing Marks and Spencer's for this. Because really, what it comes down to, I've known companies before who skimp on cyber security. They only see it as important once they get hacked. Like, honestly, guys, I've known some companies before and they will sack off an IT department. And then when something like this happens, morale in the company goes down. Everyone's getting snapped at by managers. And then it's like, how do you fight the fire once the fire's already started? And I'm really disappointed in Dior in particular. They've got the money to sort this out, to make sure it's watertight. And I'm really disappointed that this has happened. In fact, not disappointed, I'm quite angry that this has happened, because now what Dior are saying, and in fact what Marks and Spencer's have said, because Marks and Spencer's, I'll read you out their email as well. They had to send out an email last week advising customers to stay vigilant. But what these companies are now saying, Dior and Marks and Spencer's in particular, I'm not so sure about the Co-op, probably the same there, but what these companies are saying is that these hackers could end up contacting people pretending to be Dior to obtain information. So it looks like these hackers not only have addresses and contact phone numbers, but they also have names and order history. Do we believe that they haven't taken people's payment details? I'm not so sure. I have no fact on that, but frankly, I don't believe most of these companies. I think a lot of these companies, tell you something, I believe a lot of these companies only admit to this when they absolutely have to. Because I don't know about for you, but you know, like with Apple, for example, you know, when you create an account on a website somewhere, and Apple, I'm sure Samsung, Android does the same thing, but Apple chips you out like a one-off password that's really long and it contains loads of characters, etc. The amount of times I will go on my computer or on my phone and a message will pop up saying that password has been compromised, and I'm like, well, the only place I'm using it is on that particular retailer. So obviously they've been hacked and they don't want to admit it, because as soon as you admit it, you open yourself up to like potentially being sued. If anyone gets duped or conned or loses money as a result of this, or just people's privacy, it can be an issue. So what can you do about it? First of all, I want to say, do not ever click on documents. Unless you are getting like a PDF from someone you know, don't open documents and don't click on links in random emails. There is a scam that's been going on social media for a while now, for years actually, where if, for example, it normally happens with Ganni, Marge and Zara, but if you go onto Instagram and you tag those brands or you use those hashtags, normally within a couple of days, and if you're a creator and you've had this, let me know, but normally within a few days you will get a sketchy as anything email, like fake as anything, but you will get a sketchy email from scammers saying, we are Zara and we want to work with you, and we saw that you tagged us on Instagram, click this document. It's got all of the clothes in it and the shoes in it that you can choose. Let us know, send us your details and we'll post them to you. It's a massive scam. It's malware. Like, honestly, please don't click or open documents from people that you don't know. And another thing that I like to do is if I get an email and I do feel like it could be legit, but I'm not sure, click on the from name. So if it's got like Joe Blogs as the from name, click on that, and it will show you what the email address is. And if it's not an email that looks legitimate, or if you're not sure, like what I do, if I get a business email and it's from, like I got one the other day from a marketing agency, and it was an agency I'd never heard of before, and I wasn't sure from their email address if the domain was legitimate, so I looked up the actual name in the domain, like in the .com or the .co.uk, whatever it was, and it came up with a bona fide website, so I knew that that was correct. But they can even mask email addresses now, so you've got to be so careful. The other thing that I would really recommend doing, and I have been doing this for like 10 years plus now, is I don't use my real name when I sign up to these websites. This was something that I started doing many years ago when I first got on the internet, and I thought, I've got a really unique name and I'm just going to use a fake name here on everything. And I've been doing that, as I say, for 10 years. So when it comes to these data breaches, I'm not super worried, because my real details aren't included in whatever those hackers have managed to take. And I just want to share that with you. If you are worried about this moving forward, because it looks like it's happening to so many companies now, I don't know who is behind these data breaches. I wonder whether it's the same group of people. There is speculation online about who has done it, and there are some well-known anonymous hacking groups that they think have done it. And what they tend to do is they will hold to ransom the company that they've hacked, normally for things like cryptocurrency that can't be tracked. That's one thing I would definitely say, is don't use your real name. And when you do go into these boutiques, when they take your information, I know that they like your full name for your billing address, but I don't use it. I flat out don't use it. I use the wrong name everywhere. And the people that I work with in these boutiques, they know I do that. Or I will use like an old PO box address if I'm using my real name. And you've got to be so careful, you know, because I actually took a phone call several years ago now. This was when I changed my details. So what prompted me to do this? I had a phone call from someone saying they were from HSBC. Now, I don't bank with HSBC, and I don't normally answer the phone to numbers I don't know, but I happened to answer the phone on this occasion. And as soon as he said, oh, I work for HSBC, I thought, okay, I know you don't, and you're a hacker. And I thought, I'm going to have a play with you and wind you up and keep you on this phone as long as possible. Anyway, I wasn't rude, but I like wasted his time basically. And then I think he realized, and he turned frighteningly scary. I hit record on my phone, still got it on my phone. I'm not going to play it because he read out all of my details. He was like, this is what you're called. This is your address. And he threatened to take out credit in my name. So this is another thing hackers are doing. They are companies where you can take out like a store card, but you can go to the branch to pick up the item. You don't have to have it delivered to you. A friend of ours this happened to. So Next, they're like a clothing and homeware brand in the UK. Someone had taken out a credit for Next, and they placed an order, and before the paperwork arrived to the person who had been fraudulently scammed, they'd gone to the store and collected what they'd bought. I don't know what happened after that, whether they looked on CCTV, but that's another thing that's happening. You've got to be so careful. So the other thing that I do is if you sign up to like a credit agency, I use Equifax and Experian. I'm signed up to both. And what that gives you is it gives you your full credit file. And if ever there are searches on your credit file, if ever there is like a new credit agreement that is set up on there, if anyone takes out debt in your name, you get a notification. I think with Equifax is like the better one that I prefer. They actually will email me and say, someone's done a search on your account, log in to check who it is. Normally it's like my car insurance when I do my car insurance each year. But again, that's another thing you can do. That's a really, really watertight way, actually, I want to say, of knowing if there is any bad credit in your name. Whether it's credit you've taken out or whether it's somebody else has done it, it's a really good thing to do. So I would really highly recommend using those. And in your country, I'm not sure what the credit agencies are called. You may know. If you live in a certain country and you know the name of the credit agency, please can you write it in the comments below for anyone watching who's like, I live in Spain or I live in France or the US and I don't know what our equivalent is called. If you could please share it below, that would be amazing. So what do we think is going to happen from this? Do we think that people are going to end up suing these companies? From what I understand, because I did look into this earlier before this video, I thought, can I actually sue them for doing this? From what I understand, anyone legal watching, let me know. Obviously, I'm not a legal person. I've just done like a little bit of quick searching online. You can only really sue if you've had a loss. So if you're at a loss because someone tried to hack you and you had to pay for a lawyer to defend you, or if you've had credit taken out in your name or whatever, you can sue the company for that. But again, the company might say to you, well, prove that hacker phoned you off the back of it being us. These companies can be so slippery, and I wonder whether this could be seriously detrimental for Dior. Harrods as well, but seriously detrimental for Dior because they have actually admitted that the database is out there, it's been taken. And that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. There are going to be a lot of high net worth people who are pretty angry right now about this, and those sorts of people could be prime targets for scammers who try to extort money from them. But anyway, let me know what you think. Did you get the email? Have you shopped from Dior? Have you got the email? Did you get the text? I understand that this breach came out in China first, and a lot of high net worth individuals were targeted from this breach. I think we all need to be just really careful. If you don't know the name of the person phoning you, don't answer it. If it's important, they will leave you a message. These scammers, they pretty much never leave a message. And if they do, and if it's your bank, I say in quotes, and they want PIN numbers and account details, and they want you to transfer money, just don't do it. Don't answer the phone, don't click on any links, don't get involved in anything. I literally click no links, and I never answer my phone unless I know the name of the person that is calling me. So they are my tips, and I would love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. Let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.